There we are. So thank you again for being with us. My name is Heather Clarkson. I'm the Director of Admission and Financial Aid here at Cary Academy. And this Charter Chat series is really our way of trying to connect with you, our prospective families, and highlight a number of the signature programs and aspects of a Cary Academy education that we want to make sure you're aware of as you consider the options for independent education for your children. I'm very excited this week to have the staff of our Center for Community Engagement with us today to present to you this really unique programming that we offer to our Cary Academy students grades 6 through 12. And they will definitely share insights as to how we're engaging our chargers in deep, meaningful learning experiences that are outside of the classroom, not just in the traditional classroom setting. And so as we do with all of our Charger Chats, we'll go with a brief presentation here at the beginning, say about 15 minutes, and then we will open it up for Q&A with our panelists. And again, bear in mind, if you're not familiar with the Zoom Q&A tool, please familiarize yourself with that. That's how we'll do our Q&A session at the end. And it is a great way for you to note your questions as we're going through the presentation. So without any further introduction, I think we're ready to get started. And I'd like to introduce Danielle Johnson-Webb, our Director of Equity and Community Engagement here at Cary Academy.
Hello, everyone. We are so excited to be with you today to share with you what we do in the Center for Community Engagement. Again, I'm Danielle Johnson-Webb. I'm the Director of Equity here and the Center for Community Engagement. And I have two of my colleagues here, two of my team members who are outstanding, who you will hear from in a bit. Heather, and I just practiced. There we go. So one of the questions that we get even from people in our community currently is, what is the CCE? This was a vision that we had as a school, and we really, I would say last year, started to really brand the CCE. And so in short, we like to say we are a hub of ideas, a hub of innovation. We really, and you'll see at the end, we like to say that we are what help our young students become interesting in their college profiles. And so you will hear from us today about service learning, about entrepreneurship, about experiential learning. You will hear about leadership. And then I think one of the most important things is that we weave equity and social justice through everything that we do. And so you will hear bits of that, but I would like to turn it over to Maggie Grant. She is our Service Learning Director. Again, I have a very highly skilled team. They are passionate about what they do. And so Maggie, we would love to hear from you about service learning.
Great, thanks Danielle, and thank you all for being here. Like Danielle said, we're really excited to have the opportunity to share with you today, so thank you. I am the Service Learning Director here at Cary Academy. All of us in the CCE work with grades 6 through 12, so we're cross-divisional. But in the service learning program, we have kind of an overarching mission, and that is what you see on the screen, is that through service, students will have opportunities to learn about social issues, how to identify community needs by talking with experts, and really learning how to listen to what is needed in the community. They will build new partnerships or build off of existing partnerships that we have with community organizations, schools, nonprofits, all kinds of groups in the community. They will then engage in service. So that's either direct service, maybe they're going out to the diaper bank in Durham and wrapping diapers, doing things with them. Maybe they are doing indirect service either at school or right now at home, making dog toys for shelter dogs, or they are engaging in student-led advocacy. These are all components of service learning here at CA. And as Danielle mentioned, we do continuously weave equity into all of these things because it really is kind of the foundation for what we're doing at the CCE. Then of course, we want to engage students in reflection so that they are not just doing these things, but really thinking about them on a deeper level to understand further our community, to understand themselves, and how we can all be better members of our community. So that's the mission, but in terms of some other things that we do with service learning at CA, in the middle school, we primarily have grade level initiatives. So 6th grade, at least in non-pandemic times, we have a partnership with the local elementary school, and we do backpack buddies with them. It's a pretty, it's a year-long program that incorporates hands-on service, but also a lot of learning about food insecurity locally, and ways to get involved with that. 7th grade, we work with their migration collaboration project and we do some direct service and indirect service, and certainly advocacy, student-led advocacy in their own programs. That program is all about welcoming and supporting the immigrants and refugees in our community. 8th grade has an annual service day. And of course, with our Flex Day on Wednesdays, all students are able to engage in service learning on that day. And so we've been building partnerships with a lot of different organizations so far this year, and offering, I think today there were 4 or 5 different groups going out to different community partners, the Diaper Bank, to Read and Feed here in Cary, to a food pantry or food bank in Raleigh. So we do all kind of things, and Wednesdays really allow students to get involved in that way. In the upper school, in addition to Flex Day opportunities, we have a service club called Delta. It's completely student-led. And so we have a lot of leadership opportunities within Delta for students to either get involved leading a committee, which each committee focuses on a different social issue. So working with the elderly, supporting children and education, food insecurity, things like that. These are all student identified interests, and then student-led groups within the service club. So we do have a lot of different opportunities for students to get involved in the middle school and the upper school. There's grade level opportunities during advisory for service as well. So we are really excited anytime students bring their own experience to, or just have a deep interest or passion in serving the community. So I would love for any current or prospective students to reach out, and we can find a way for you to get plugged into service learning.
Thank you, Maggie. And I think you make an excellent point that the Delta Service Club is probably our largest club at the school, but we have a number of students who do not participate in that club that are still reaching out to us to do service. And so we just want you all to know you don't have to be part of the Delta Service Club. Maggie works with a number of students who are not part of that, but to feel needs in their community that they want to get involved with. So that's really an important aspect of what we do. Up next, I have Dr. Mack, who is our Experiential Learning Director, and he will talk a little bit about what that means for CA and some of the ways that we are able to see that work here. You're muted.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here and giving me a chance to tell you a little bit about experiential learning at Cary Academy. When I say it's at Cary Academy, that's partially true because some of the experiential learning we do is on campus. A lot of it is off campus, but we like to give students lots and lots of ways to be part of the co-design and co-leadership of their own learning. That's something that we build up over time. As Maggie said, all of us in the center work with both middle and upper school students, and we are starting at a different level in 6th grade than we are by the time they're seniors, certainly. But we try to grow students towards the place that by the time they are graduates of Cary Academy, they really do understand themselves as learners pretty well, and they're able to seek out and identify ways to grow both on paths that they have a lot of passion about already, and maybe in areas where they know they need to grow. So ever since we started talking about the growth of experiential learning at Cary Academy about 6 or 7 years ago now, we knew that we wanted experiential learning to focus on both areas of deep interest and passion for students that they had already identified, and also sometimes to push them outside their comfort zone and have them doing things that were challenges for them that they knew they needed to grow in those areas. So we really do try and do both. There are a lot of different ways in which experiential learning gets delivered and participated in at Cary Academy. You see a picture here, for instance, of students working with a teacher on designing and building an aquaponics lab as part of our greenhouse at Cary Academy. That's one of the many, many different activities that is happening for parts of Flex Days, our Wednesdays this year. Other students are doing things like this on campus. Some of them are going out and working with community partners in various ways, whether that's service learning or finding an expert in an area where they want to learn more. In the last couple of weeks, we've had classes go out with their teachers to expand the curriculum for them. For instance, we've got a literature of wilderness lit class this year. It's a new class, and so instructors in that class took students to a state park and studied not just what was in the park, but also started talking about some of the connections they were making to the literature they're reading. That's an example. I could probably give you easily about 50 examples off the top of my head of things we've done in the last few weeks. Flex Day is just one of the things we do, though. As Maggie said, there's lots of other ways that our students engage with their learning. We have a very developed club program in both the middle and the upper schools. In the middle school, the clubs tend to be more of a collaboration with more adult leadership. In the upper school, I would say that the clubs tend to be very much co-led by both students and adults. I think we've got something like 65 or 70 active clubs this year. And so we have a lot of different ways for students to engage. And those clubs range from academic-y kinds of clubs, math club, Spanish club, but also clubs that delve into things like robotics, or there's a science Olympiad club. There are a number of clubs that work with schools on other campuses that have similar interests and that sort of organize competitions or exhibitions of their work throughout the year. The Work Experience Program is a program we started, I think, 4 years ago now. It gives rising seniors a chance to have a 2-week placement at the end of their junior year in a field that they know they've got a significant interest. Sometimes that is work in a business, a profit business or a nonprofit. Sometimes also working in the public sector, maybe with state or local government. And something like 80% of our rising senior class has participated in that the last couple of years. We didn't get a chance to run it this past year because of COVID, but one of the things that Flex Day allows us to do, hopefully this year, is that maybe after the seniors get their college applications in, which they're all stressed out about right now, but sometime after this month, we're hopeful that they might want to circle back around to some of the places they had already been placed in for the spring and see if they might be able to do at least some remote work for those same businesses as part of a work experience program that could stretch out across a number of Wednesdays this year. Learning sprints are another signature program at Cary Academy. We've sent students to Switzerland. We've sent them to Michigan to build a car. We've sent them to a number of different locations studying a specific issue or specific topic for a limited number of days, and then usually find a way to bring that learning back to the campus and share it with others here. Every term happens like work experience the last 2 weeks of our school year in the upper school. Those are opportunities for students to suggest a course, a short course, 2-week long, that meets every day, all day long, and suggest a course on a topic they would be interested in learning more about. We've had things like, rivers and mountains and streams of North Carolina. We've had courses that delve into advanced math topics. We've had a lot of different types of courses that have been suggested. Some of them involve a lot of travel or field trips. Some of them are more campus-based, but using a lot of experiential learning on campus. So there are a lot of different ways that students at Cary Academy experience their education. There's wonderful learning that goes on in classrooms, and the experiential learning program here does also include aspects of trying to include more engagement and hands-on activities in classes. But we also push students outside the classroom and faculty outside the classrooms to think about ways that we can expand their learning here. So that's a snapshot, and be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Dr. Mack. Our entrepreneurship coordinator, Palmer Seeley, could not be here. He is actually at senior lunch. He's also the senior grade level leader, and it's just a special time for him to be with seniors. So he is not here with us. Our entrepreneurship program is, is growing. We are so excited about what we are seeing. And for us, we have students that are building apps? We do. Do we have students that have made businesses that are lucrative? We do, but that is not our goal. Our goal is really that design thinking process and entrepreneurship. And we are trying to start that at a very young age. And so we have entrepreneurship startup clubs that students can be a part of. We have students that are doing independent studies. They may be building a business. Right now, we have one of our students who's doing an independent study building the online school store. We also have a group of students that are writing content for the online school store. We have students who may not want to build a business, but want to help another student with marketing that business. And so we are really working all of those different aspects of that. And then we also partner with the Young Founders Institute, and they partner with UNC Chapel Hill. And they are doing mini entrepreneurship learning sprints for our 7th graders currently. So last week was Shark Tank, and they were looking at angel investors and high level things that I was not aware of when I was in 6th or 7th grade. And so that is exciting as well. And we have students that create their own businesses, and then they may come to us because they need a little help. We have partnerships with patent lawyers. And so there's certain things that we have students that are doing this outside on their own, but we're able to provide them some help. So I just wanted to tell you guys a bit about entrepreneurship. Why is all of this important? It is really important to us at CA that our students own their own learning. That is very important for us. We know that we do academics really, really well. We have highly competitive students, but what is going to make them interesting? And so our college counseling team has spoken to highly selective colleges and universities who think more schools should be doing a flex day. And so we'll get into that a little bit more because we have students on this call. And one other aspect of the CCE that we have not spoken about is our dialogue practice. And we run that through the Center for Community Engagement. We have an outstanding student leader, Mayra Solomon, who works closely with me. You know, there were many schools 4 years ago, the day after the election, that did not have a plan. And I think we were one of those. And so we have partnered with the Central Partners out of Boston, and they run a dialogue process that teaches people, not just students, but adults as well, how to have meaningful conversations when there are differences in a circle. And so we take that work very serious, and you'll get to hear a little bit more about that. I'm hopeful because I think our student dialogue leader is with us today. But Heather, that is what we have for our presentation.